Something has happened just recently that is highly concerning to most of the United States. And the reason why this is so concerning is because it has to do with President Biden and whether or not he has the power to really do anything. I'm going to address what's going on here, but this is concerning mainly because what President Biden is attempting to do is actually not happening. Again, I'm going to address this further in just a moment. All I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So recently, President Biden has attempted to do many things. He's tried to figure out a way to get Congress to pass a bill for $60 billion to go to Ukraine. He attempted to get over $14 billion to Israel. He's sold military equipment to Israel. He has provided some assistance to other countries, but at the same time is neglecting people right here on U.S. soil. So here's what's happening, and this is why it's so concerning. Experts are now saying that President Biden is struggling to regain control and regain power. Here's the reason why they're saying it. There's multiple different reasons. One is Iran is moving warships into the Red Sea. We got reports on this just yesterday, and we got more confirmations this morning as well. They're trying to move an Iranian warship into the Red Sea because the U.S. Navy helicopter, shot and took the lives of 10 people on Houthi boats. That's the first thing. President Biden is also struggling because Israel has shown that they don't care what President Biden has to say. They don't care what his concerns are. They listen to him, but that's about it. They're not going to bow down to him. They're not going to do what he wants. That's concerning. Next one, Congress. These are lawmakers. They don't care what President Biden has to say. Even Democrats at this time are not really concerned with what President Biden has to say. Some are saying right now that they are not going to pass a bill just because the president is asking for them to. They're not going to do it. They want to read the legislation. They want to see that their agenda is included and their voice is heard. Well, if that's the case for all lawmakers, we're in trouble because there's no way they're going to pass a bill where every single lawmaker has a voice. It just won't happen. Here's the other problem. This is a huge problem. Democratic governors don't care what President Biden's agenda is. They care about their state. And many states right now are in trouble because of this border crisis. Well, what did President Biden try to do? Well, he sent Anthony Blinken down to Mexico to meet with the Mexican president, and he came back and said, yes, we had a good discussion. And what they discussed was hopefully the United States can get Congress to pass additional legislation, send additional funding to Mexico, and then Mexico would provide additional assistance, or they would essentially be the gatekeeper. So what would happen is Mexico would deny people entry into Mexico to prevent them from coming all the way up to the United States. Not only that, but Mexico would also start sending people back to their home countries. That hasn't happened in almost a year. So that's a big change. However, it all comes down to funding. Is the United States going to give Mexico funding? If not, Mexico likely will not do any of this stuff. So that's concerning as well. And then the other threat is Russia. The Russian President Vladimir Putin, he's not concerned with the United States. He's not threatened by President Biden. But this is where things change. In less than a year, I think 10 months, we are going to have a presidential election. So in about 1 year, a little over 1 year, there could be a change of president. If this happens and it's the current frontrunner, which would be former President Donald Trump, that would have Russia concerned, that would have China concerned, that would have Iran concerned, that would have Israel concerned, that would have Mexico a little bit concerned as well, because there's a good chance we finish putting up the U.S.-Mexico border wall. But the big concern right now that experts are saying is that right now nobody fears the United States. Nobody fears President Biden. President Biden is struggling to regain power. and he's going to do everything in his arsenal to try to regain this power. The problem is it's likely too little, too late. So here's where we go from here. What we are now hearing is that lawmakers, when they come back, their first order of business is going to be border security. It's not going to be the government funding bill. It's going to be the border security, border policies. That is from the House of Representatives, who are Republican majority. Then you got the Senate, who's controlled by Democrats, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. They're going to come back and they're going to start working on the government funding bill. Also, money for Ukraine. That's at least what we're hearing. So at this time, there's a chance we see a bill for the government funding bill, and inside of it is going to be funding for Ukraine, and then also inside of that is going to be some type of either funding or policy change for border security. However, Republicans are adamant that they are going to stand pretty much firm. There will be no government funding bill. There will be no continuing resolution until there's something done for our border. So, moving forward, the expectation is we're going to see a lot of pain. We are going to see pain maybe in the markets. I don't know. That's for a different video. But we may see pain in the markets. People are going to see it's just going to be painful to watch. Are the American people going to get increases to SNAP benefits? Are we going to see an increase to the Social Security Administration? Not benefits, but the administration. Are we going to see cuts to school funding, right? Police, right? First responders. Are we going to see funding to these things? Are libraries going to start to close? Parks closed. Are we going to see this? The answer is potentially yes. And then I talked about this the other day, that federal workers are about to get a 5.2% increase to their pay as well. That is because of last week, President Biden signed an executive order to give them a 5.2% raise. But that 5.2% raise is funded by the exact same stuff that was funding all the other programs. So that money didn't increase, but the expenses of that bill just did. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is that this will be a very difficult 2024. So if you are wanting to be ready for what is coming, just understand that having a little bit of money on the side is always a good thing. Okay, that's great. Staying up to date on what is actually happening, whether it's a threat in the Middle East, whether it's a threat from China or Russia or Mexico, doesn't matter. Just understand what is happening. Right now, the big concern in cities and counties is, do they have enough shelter? Do they have enough food for people that are food insecure? Right? Do they have enough space for people to just live, just be? Some say no, they don't. They were not prepared. They don't have the funding to prepare, and things will get worse. So that's where we're at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.